before we get out of here, I want y'all opinion on this. All right. Hold on. I'm gonna let y'all listen to it.
No, but seriously though, you should though. We gotta start teaching our kids though, just financial wealth and literacy and all that shit early. Because by the time they get to 9th grade, they should be just learning how to start businesses and how to. But they don't really need to know how to read. Wait, stop. I ain't gonna say that.
Whoa.
I say that respectfully. I'm not saying that in a way to be literate because you're not supposed to be illiterate, but you can.
What's more important, reading or math?
Math. Told you. Math. I think you can listen to a book on YouTube. You can still obtain the information. And you don't have to know how to read. I'm reading and understanding. I believe common sense is better than everything. I'm a common sense nigga. I'd rather have 0 book smarts and common sense, be able to read the room, be able to read life, be able to read people. I try to understand people, you know what I'm saying? Like,
enough of that shit.
This is the most ignorant stuff I've ever heard in my life, bro. Like, first off, reading is how you gain knowledge. If someone wants to get paid, so for him, when someone's making him a contract, you think they're gonna put it on an audio book for you?
Right.
The dumbest thing ever, bro.
Everything on audio book form. Everybody gonna do it for him.
And here's the thing: you got a lot of these guys, these people always talking about. I'd rather have street smarts than book smarts or common sense smarts. Than you gain that by educating yourself. That's the only way you gain common sense, street smarts by education. You have. That's why they always these so-called thugs and gangsters that say I read that street smarts always getting killed because you had no common sense in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in math, you have to even read to know math.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: financial literacy starts from reading.
Yeah.
From reading, yes.
I think it was Trump's son.
So you know what's crazy is illiteracy is one of the main things that the teachers complain about. I've been seeing a lot of the videos of teachers speaking out. They're saying these kids can't read. All the way up into high school, they can't read. Fundamental things they cannot do.
That's because they got all this technology. Why read? All I gotta do is say, Google this or Chat GBT that.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit there and actually read the book and then write down the essay about the book of what you read.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't like how it was when we were growing up. Like I joke when I say this, like our era was the best era. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's just my opinion. Our era was the best era. We actually had to read and all that different type of stuff.
Yeah.
I hear that so many, and it annoys when people say. The thing about it saying is they never put the effort in to learn how to read themselves. It was too hard for them, so they said, "Oh, I don't need it in the first place." And it's mostly people who say that aren't anywhere in their lives. Like they're not rich, they're not successful. At your job, you know what I'm saying, in a warehouse job, talking about all I need is common sense. Well, if you already had education, you may be somewhere else driving a forklift.
Yeah.
I think I think you need common sense, education, and street. That's just me personally.
Yeah, you need a good balance on all that.
Yeah,
right.
You need an extra balance on all of it.
It starts with just the literacy part. You right, you need all that, but it starts there.
Now that I really think about it too, with my job and new people, there's a lot of things that they have to read, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are just put in writing for you to follow and learn. And they do it like the answers are right there. It's simplified in written form on how to do something. And they still don't do it right because they don't want to read.
Yep.
That boggles my mind. Like how the how-to is right there in front of you. And you did this wrong because you didn't want to read.
You know what's boggled my mind also is when they took cursive out. I'm like, man, anybody can write down your name.
I too was boggled.
That's another.
I too was boggled behind the search.
There's a conspiracy behind that.
Wait, what'd you say?
It sounded like you said eye tools and boggles.
I said,
that's what I heard.
I too was boggle. Control was like, I was boggled. AJ was like, I was boggled too. And then I said, I was boggled.
Yeah, man.
That's another thing that teachers were complaining about, that the kids' handwriting is terrible. It's not even legible. One teacher was saying that she stopped giving writing assignments because she couldn't read what the kids were writing. Like
that's the problem right there. That's the problem.
And they're not writing in cursive either. They're writing in plain text, like non-cursive writing, and this writing is terrible. But there was a conspiracy.
I hear they got the new caveman style. Are you familiar with that?
You know, the capital A looked like a square, and then got a quick line going through it. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's terrible.
Lowercase a is like a circle, and then it's like line. I'm like, is that a B? No. Or a D? No, that's an A.
I don't even see
like that's the problem, because like what you said, the teachers took away the writing assignment because it wasn't legible. That's the problem. That's where y'all gotta help them, learn how to write legibly,
But but they're also complaining that the behaviors of, like, they don't have the support of for the behaviors in the classroom. So they're trying to teach and they're trying to get through, but they're like, first off, if you only got like maybe four kids out of 25 to 30 that are on grade level, period, that's the struggle. And then they're saying that, you got the kids that can't read, kids that can't write, and they need more help. But the ratio of you trying to help them in the class during the assignment is they're outnumbered. They can't give that individualized attention.
That's another thing. Education. I mean, not education. The teachers is the numbers of teachers compared to the students is way low now.
Yeah.
Not too many people want to be a teacher anymore.
No, they don't. You know what I'm saying? They were like, the discipline actions. Now they ain't beating kids in school no more, but they were like, the things like, you got detention and they're doing away with all that stuff.
Because they don't care that they're getting detention. They still gonna do it.
No, and you can tell by like the attention span. Like, cause Marley, she's a teacher. And I hear about that, like, it's so bad. Like, it's hard to even like keep them within seconds of listening to something outright and understanding at that, like really understanding what you're saying instead of it just being words. They're actually putting it together and understanding. Like, it's so hard. Like, that's so difficult for them now.
It's a TikTok world, the Snapchat world.
30 seconds.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, what school?
Hold on, Jennifer said, wait a sec. They do still teach cursive in school. No, they
what school?
Oh no, she said dyslexic kids learn cursive. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. But in like the city school districts here and stuff like that, and there is no cursive.
Yeah, I heard that.
You were a city school district.
Yeah,
a lot of the inner city schools.
Not even that. The school that AJ go to. AJ school isn't part of the city school.
I heard some schools brought it back, but it's not across the board as it used to be. Like, it used to be an automatic thing where they took it out for a minute, and then some schools brought it back, but I don't know.
Yeah,
she said dyslexic kids learn cursive better than print. I wonder why.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I mean, with us being all adults, how often is cursive needed other than your signature?
Signing something. And
the conspiracy about cursive was that the Constitution is written in cursive. If you've never seen cursive and you don't have exposure to cursive and you don't know how to read or write, then you can't read it.
I was thinking that too. Like, a lot of these kids nowadays can't even read it. When I'll write out something in cursive and I'll ask what that say. It was like, I don't know.
Here's the thing. That's why conspiracy theories are funny. Because nobody's reading the Constitution anywhere to go. Right?
Nobody's reading it anyway, and it's available in regular text. So
Nobody's like,
they sent the original documents.
Bullshit
If you
anyway.
want to read the original documents, it would be.
People hold ourselves self-evidence, and nah, I'm not doing that shit. But my thing is, I blame like my thing is it's always on the parents. It's like the teacher don't have the support. The main people that had the support from is the parents. They expect the teacher to that little time they spend with the teacher. You're supposed to only focus on that one child instead of them going home and you helping your kid read. It's like the parents today are, and I'm not all of them. I'm saying like a lot of the failures are on the parents.
It starts with it. Yeah, it starts with the parents.
You know, you can't say anything to the kid because then he go down to tell the parents, and now the parents is mad because you making them read.
You know what it is too? It's like a lot of parents just stick the video game right in front of them when they was kids, when they was babies. Like they stick the tablet right in front of them, or they give them the controller to the game, and all of a sudden the game is what's like mainly raising them instead of you just sitting back teaching them A, B, C, D, you know, and 1, 2, 3.
Oh, you know, AJ today and the parents of today, both of y'all in the front of the game right now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I put it this way because my daughter she does pay attention to the game a lot. Now I give her grace only because of her grades. If I see that her grades have declined or it's affecting it, and I told her that the second I see anything declining in your academics, it's gone. So she's aware of that. You know, she's been on the honor roll and all that all year and stuff like that. So I let her ride with it. And then plus at school, there's no phones allowed. Like you can get suspended for having your phone. So pretty much during the week, she don't have her phone. You know, as opposed to being at home and being done with her homework. So that's why when a lot of times when she visits me on the weekends and stuff like that, I let her live as long as those grades is where they're supposed to be. I'm not going, and I know during the week you don't really have your phone like that anyway. So I don't really give her too much slack about it.
You know how, bro, how we always, how people always fantasize like, dang, man, how would LeBron have existed in Jordan's era or, that imagination. How do you feel the kids of today surviving in our era?
They wouldn't survive. You telling me they would have survived? Taking out trash.
In reality, they would have
like cleaning the house.
Man. If you
that's
take them from there, they wouldn't. But if they were born in that era, they would have.
Right, but I'm just
they wouldn't have survived. If you take their mindset from this era and put them in our era, they would not have survived.
Yeah, it'd be different. It'd definitely be different.
Word. They'd be like, why? Why do I gotta take out the trash? Why I gotta shovel the snow? I don't know how to do that. And then when they do it, they'll be half-assed.
They have no responsibility, nothing.
No, they wouldn't survive.
I look at it. I agree, but I look at it a little different because with some of these kids, if as the world gets older and older, or we move forward in time, we discover new things, we learn more, we educate ourselves more. So a lot of these kids do have things that are educated in a way that is good for today. That we were doing it maybe a harder time back when we were younger. It may be a smarter way, but
we evolve with the economy.
Well, I do understand you, because there was no technology around our era. There was no technology, so a lot of the stuff.
Just way of thinking.
I'm just saying that almost like instead of you thinking on a lot of stuff, which our era we did a lot of thinking. This era, you got a machine or device to think a little bit more for you. So a lot of the stuff that we're accustomed to, they don't necessarily have to do a lot of the thinking because they have the device.
They have to, but they also the generation has to keep those devices going. What you say?
I said so. Technology stop whoopings.
I mean,
No. I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying. Did that stop happening?
Huh?
I said, at what point did that stop happening?
Giving out whoopings.
I think that started. I think that stopped when parents started to get. I think when laws changed and parents started to get prosecuted for that.
Exactly.
I think that slowed a lot of stuff down too.
Exactly.
Modern psychology, the promotion of modern psychology, it changes the perspective of discipline in children. It is not. It is frowned upon. Physical discipline is frowned upon. Well, spankings, all that stuff. It is really if you see where the push is, all that talking to kids and sitting them down and just you being verbal with the kids, that's a push from psychology. That's a psychological perspective.
Like, so you talking about when you yell at
I agree with
sit
that.
your ass down,
Because it's always parents
those type of parents.
Back in the day, were really because they was emotional and they didn't know how to teach. That's the real
right. So I mean, from my personal perspective, if you're going to spank your child, you also need to put that energy into following up and having conversations and mending that relationship back and building that relationship. You don't just beat the kid and leave them off, right? So there's a way you can spank your kids and then follow up and have them understand. Well, a lot of people do is just whoop their kid. Like, why you got to whoop it. Nah, you got to come back with a follow up. But now with current methodologies, it is we don't do the whooping. Consequences are not really a thing. We're just going to focus on telling the kid the right way, trying to reinforce verbally and correct them and telling them what they should do. And there's no physical consequences or just consequences in general are not really what is being pushed.
But you know why?
You know what? And it's crazy you say that. Huh?
But can you see?
It's crazy you say that because me and you, with our experience, that's kind of what was promoted amongst staff is, absolutely nothing physical, nothing at all. You have to literally talk.
Yep.
Despite the behavior, only thing you can do is talk.
Yep.
Now there are, stimulations as far as if you have to do certain things depending on what's going on. Like if there's something that's threatening, like physical harm or something like that, that's when you have to intervene. But other than that, only thing you can do is talk. That's it. So it's almost like, we were at the basis of that. Because that's all we can do is just talk. Now, it's some, if you was that type of staff that the kids knew not to F with, they already knew all you had to do was talk. In a lot of cases, all you had to do was say something. But, you got a bunch of, if you're not working with people that's not on the same page, you always going to run into issues because they don't know how, they don't have that same type of, reputation like you would as far as the kids listening to you. You know what I'm saying? So
you can see, but like you said, you can see the clear difference.
Yes.
Of how things go.
Kids are far more. They're we'll call it talking back, but they're very dismissive of a direction now. They're more, well, I don't want to do that. I don't. You know what I'm saying? It's very, but
combative and want to power struggle and all that.
Yeah, but I mean,
you do know why? We especially in our community, we whoop. You know why, right? Because our parents did it, and their parents did it, and their parents did it. We don't have no real understanding of why. We just know to do it.
Yeah.
Reality of it. Here's the thing. You remember the whole? You ever hear this statement? I'm whooping you so to keep you out of jail.
I never heard that one.
How many of them jail people got whoopings? Probably most of them. It didn't do nothing.
I actually, some of them, probably like majority of them, probably was like in and out of home, didn't have a relationship with their parents, kind of like that type of lifestyle upbringing. I feel like so where a lot of times I feel like when there's a split in the household, kind of now dad's out the house, now it's unbalanced, And now you lost both your parents. Now you just raising yourself. You allowing the streets to raise you. So now you just know survival. So I do whatever it takes to survive. Your whole mindset. And just imagine you have about hundreds of thousands of those people around the world just having that mindset of like you and we are all brought up in a functional upbringing. The structure of our lives was put together well. We're who we are today. But other people did not have that structure. They had to build it themselves from what they know on the go. So they're just like that's what those people in jail that you're talking about. I feel like.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you touching on even what Jennifer touched on. She said thinking you could discipline every kid the same is stupid. I whooped both my kids. One responded to the whooping, and the other one fought back. No kid or adult responds the same, and that's I think like you said, we're built different than the ones that were in jail. You know what I'm saying? Different lifestyle ways, and responded to it differently. So yeah, I mean, yeah, those are good points. I think,
and not in her case specifically, but I would say a kid who is receiving discipline and fighting back is just looking like they're just being attacked, and they don't understand any other reason for them to be disciplined than I'm being attacked right now. And that's where that follow-up conversation and you giving them that understanding comes into play, because like I said, just beating them and going on about it is not the way.
You got those one kids. I know everybody's seen those kids, especially out where like you sit the child down and you be like, all right, little Timmy, you got to be good, and they're like, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot kick. It's not good to kick. Like,
what's the first thing you think of?
And that's a kid with no boundaries.
What's the first thing you think of?
I want to kick this kid.
That kid needs a whooping. That's the first thing you think of.
He needs to be some type of. You cannot cross this line. This is a stove. It's a hot stove. This ain't for you to get to this level. So you would think next time, but like you said, there's no boundaries to set with these kids anymore. Now it's just like you just kind of got to touch them when it happens instead of letting them know this is just sealing with me and be like, yo, I don't even want to mess with this person.
Do you think it's like more of like you walking on eggshells now?
So the whooping would be defining that boundary. That's like, this is the line. You cross it, you're going to use, this is the line. But then the conversation afterwards is helping them understand that line. Like why you can't cross that line.
I mean, but they did that with us, like when we got whoopings and stuff like that. You know why I had to do that, right?
Yeah.
They'll comfort you after the whooping when you doing that hard cry.
A lot of these parents
my mom did it to me. You know what I mean? When she whooped me, she come to me and you know why I had to whoop you.
Salmon, little apple.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She explained of why she had to.
Not everybody's doing that. Not everybody is.
You're right.
Everybody's parenting out like that. Like I've seen these parents sit there and screaming and cursing at a 3-year-old, and it's like, what? Yeah. Why are you talking like that to a 3-year-old?
Exactly. That's different.
Yeah. Like she said, we think that we've been conditioned to think that violence is the only way to control, and that's true. Even from the beginning of time, the only way to teach is I gotta beat you. It's like
beat you. That's why that's the first thing you think of when you see a child acting up in the store. Like, man, that child needs a good whooping.
But it has a psychological effect, though. It does. It has that. If something has a threat of harm to it, you would tend to want to avoid that thing.
Right. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's when you whooping a kid, is the kid thinking I don't do this no more, or I don't do it in front of the person who's causing me pain anymore?
Oh yeah, they could be thinking either or. It depends on the mentality of the kid, right? Because then you're gonna have that kid that's like, well, I just want to do it in front of you, and I say you see those kids all the time. Or the kid's like, oh, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, I ain't gonna never do this. You see it all the time. It's how 1,000 people can experience the same thing and come away with different interpretations of it, each one. So
makes sense.
like Jennifer said, you can't pigeonhole everybody into the same thing. Not everybody is coming through with the same thing, and that's why if it's your kid, you should know your kid. You spend enough time around to know their mentality, know what makes them tick, and then be able to reach them on that level. But again, you can't. Not everyone can do that, because if I'm so caught up in providing life, going to work and doing this, you're gonna drop the ball on certain things like that. You know, especially in single parent homes.
Do you think, like, all right, I'll say, for example, like me, my oldest one, it damaged him more if we had to work out more than a whooping. I'm like, oh, okay, so you act up in school today, so we about to bust out like 10 push-ups. We're gonna do that 3 times.
Whooping. Just give me the whooping.
Yeah, and he started like, oh no, and I'm down there with him doing push-ups with him. You know what I mean? So you can't say you're doing it alone.
I like that.
And that's a prime example of knowing, not defaulting to a whooping, but you still got a boundary set.
Yeah. Something that they don't like.
And mentally, through that workout, it's building physically, but it's also building mental strength at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, we used to go for runs, do push-ups.
Benefiting.
Yeah. Instead of just whooping them, you know. And when he got older, you know, at this time he was a teenager. At this time, you got to think differently. There is no push-ups, no sit-ups. Now this boy's stronger. He already doing it on his own. Right. So now I start taking games. You know what I mean? You got to figure out.
So would it be okay if I have, like, whenever I have children, my 5-year-old could run on the side of my car?
No, that ain't okay for your 5-year-old to run on the side of the car. Run. You better be out there running with your 5-year-old,
Nigga, this ain't Rocky. You got a boxing match coming up, nigga?
It was a video I came across of where the father was disciplining his daughter, and she was in extracurricular activities, and her grades were slipping. He just told her, like, yo, I'm taking you out of those. You're not doing them in that. And that was what it was. Like, you know, it's like, yo, he worked out with her. They run, they whatever. And that was the discipline that he chose. It wasn't a physical thing. It was just like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just paying attention enough to your kid that you know what makes them motivated.
Yeah. Like, for example, my youngest one, when he was younger, I didn't even have to touch him. It was the sound of my voice. If he hears my voice range just a little bit higher, he knows. Yeah, my Clark. You bring Sam Cassell's junk out now. I can bring it back. I'll hold it up longer. But like, it's not like when he was real young, there ain't no cursing out, and I was like, yo, sit down. And then he'll go sit down somewhere. You know, it's nothing like a beat or nothing like that. Yeah. Do you recommend stuff like that if that works on your child?
Oh yeah. If raising your voice works, yeah.
There's no need to do anything else.
So that way,
in my case, baby girl, the phone is surprise possession. Now, I have a button on my phone.
Yo, twin.
I have a button on my phone where I can shut her phone down from wherever I'm at, and she knows that. So she already know. I'm a call away. I can be like, oh, what's going on? Bloop. And her phone will get shut down. She can't do nothing with it, and it drive her crazy. So she know better. I'm like, okay.
Look at me. What about me would make you think that I care about your opinion of me?